What if I told you that school never taught you how money really works? I had a job, a salary, and security, yet I was still stuck. Then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and in just 30 days, my mindset, my decisions, and my financial direction completely changed. By the end of this video, you'll see money in a way you never have before. Let me shock you with the truth most schools never tell you. More than 70% of people who earn a good salary still live paycheck to paycheck. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't work hard. It's because they were never taught how money actually works. For years, I was one of them. I believed that if I studied hard, got good grades, found a stable job, everything would magically fall into place. That was my entire financial plan. And honestly, that's the plan most of us grow up with. Then one book entered my life and destroyed that illusion forever. That book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I didn't read it to become rich. I didn't read it to start a business. I read it because I was confused, stuck, and frustrated. I was earning, but not growing. Saving, but never feeling secure. Working harder every year, but feeling poorer inside. And I had no idea why. Before this book, my thinking about money was simple and dangerous at the same time. Money comes from a job. Security comes from a salary. Risk is bad. Debt is always evil. And rich people are just lucky. That mindset felt safe, but it was slowly killing my future. When I opened Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the very first lesson hit me like a slap. The rich don't work for money. Money works for them. I remember closing the book and staring at the wall for a few minutes, because suddenly, my entire life made sense. I was working for money, every single day, every single hour, trading time for cash. And when I stopped working, the money stopped too. That's when I realized I wasn't free. I was just busy. The book introduced two fathers. One was highly educated, worked hard, followed rules, believed in job security. The other focused on learning how money flows, how assets generate income, and how mindset shapes destiny. And slowly, painfully, I saw myself in the poor dad mindset. Good intentions, hard work, zero financial education. No one ever taught me what an asset really is, why liabilities keep people poor, why schools prepare employees, not owners, why fear controls financial decisions. The most dangerous belief I had was this: if I earn more, my problems will disappear. But the book shattered that idea. It explained that income doesn't make you rich. Assets do. You can earn more and still be broke. You can earn less and still build wealth. That one concept changed how I looked at everything. My job, my spending, my dreams. Before reading this book, I thought buying a car was an achievement. Now I saw it for what it was, a liability, draining my pocket every month. E4. I thought a house automatically made you rich. Now I understood the difference between a home and an income-producing asset. This wasn't motivational talk. It was uncomfortable truth. Then came the lesson that truly shook me. The problem isn't lack of money. The problem is lack of financial intelligence. That line haunted me because I realized I had been running from money problems instead of learning from them. I avoided investments because they felt risky. I avoided businesses because they felt complicated. I avoided learning because ignorance felt safer than failure. But safety was expensive, and I was paying for it with my future. That's when I made a decision. I wouldn't just read this book. I would live it. I challenged myself to apply the principles of Rich Dad, Poor Dad for 30 days. No excuses, no shortcuts, just action. The first thing I did was simple but powerful. I started tracking where my money actually went, and the truth was ugly. Small expenses, unnecessary comforts, emotional spending. Money wasn't disappearing. I was leaking it. Then I focused on learning. Not formal education, financial education. I started reading about assets, watching videos about cash flow, understanding how businesses make money. And something strange happened. The fear slowly turned into curiosity. For the first time, money wasn't stressful. It was a puzzle I wanted to solve. I began asking different questions. How can this make me money? Is this an asset or a liability? Will this pay me or cost me long term? That shift alone changed how I saw opportunities. By the end of the first 30 days, nothing dramatic happened externally. I wasn't rich, I wasn't free. But internally, everything had changed. I no longer thought like someone trying to survive. I was thinking like someone trying to build. And then came the moment that changed everything. There was one specific moment where theory turned into reality. An opportunity appeared in front of me, small, imperfect, and honestly a little scary. The old me would have ignored it. The old me would have said, "It's too risky." The old me would have waited for certainty. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad had rewired my thinking. I remembered one key lesson. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be financially educated. So instead of running away, I analyzed. I asked, will this build an asset? Will it generate cash flow? What is the worst-case scenario? What will I learn even if I fail? That mindset gave me courage. I took action. Not massive action, not reckless action, educated action. That decision didn't make me rich overnight, but it gave me something far more valuable: confidence. Confidence that I could understand money. Confidence that I wasn't powerless. Confidence that wealth wasn't reserved for special people. Slowly, opportunities started to appear where I never noticed them before. Ideas instead of excuses. Solutions instead of complaints. I stopped asking, how much do I earn? I started asking, how many assets do I own? I stopped chasing comfort. I started chasing growth. One of the most powerful lessons from the book was about failure. Poor mindset avoids mistakes. Rich mindset learns from them. Before, failure felt like proof that I wasn't good enough. Now, failure felt like tuition. And that changed how boldly I moved forward. Over time, the results followed. Not just financially, but mentally. I felt lighter, clearer, more in control. Money stopped being emotional. It became strategic. I understood that wealth is built in silence, not in showing off. That patience beats speed. That mindset comes before money. The biggest change wasn't in my bank account. It was in my identity. I no longer saw myself as someone waiting to be saved by a job, a raise, or luck. I saw myself as someone responsible for their financial future, and that is freedom. Rich Dad, Poor Dad didn't give me money. It gave me a new lens. A lens through which I see opportunities, risks, time, and value differently. If you're struggling financially, it's not because you're weak. It's because no one taught you the rules of the game. This book teaches those rules. Once you learn them, you can never unsee them. That's why Rich Dad, Poor Dad didn't just change my finances. It changed my life forever. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment and share your experience with money and financial education. And if you want to learn practical personal finance tips that can help you start building real wealth, make sure to watch the next video on this channel. Because your financial future doesn't start with money. It starts with how you think.